John Robert Wooden was born October 14, 1910 in the little village of Hall, Indiana. His parents, Roxy and Joshua Wooden, had a total of 6 children, but one died in infancy. During his childhood, life was hard for John as they were forced to move twice by the time he was 14. However, the last move they made was to the town of Martinsville, Indiana. While in Martinsville, John, who idolized many of the heroes of Indiana high school basketball, began to play for Martinsville High School. While playing there, he would lead the Athenians to 3 state finals trips and a state championship in 1927. Also during this time, he earned countless awards, including becoming a 3-time All-State player. After graduating in 1928, John Wooden went on to attend Purdue University. While at Purdue, he led the Boilermakers to a national championship and became Purdue's first 3-time consensus All-American, also being named the College Basketball Player of the Year in 1932. During his time at Purdue, he earned the nickname the Indiana Rubber Man for his reckless abandon and for throwing his body on the floor after every loose ball. Even early in his life, he was used to setting the example and being a great leader and motivator. After his graduation from Purdue with an English degree, Wooden went on to play professionally in the then NBL, National Basketball League. He was well known for his attention to details and the working on fundamentals of the game so that he could improve as a player. This paid off at one stretch when he made 134 consecutive free throws over a 46-game span, something that we would be hard-pressed to see accomplished in today's professional basketball. Through his high standard of play, he was enshrined into the Basketball Hall of Fame as a player in 1961. Yet basketball was not his full-time job, as he was also a teacher and a coach at the high school level in places such as Dayton, Kentucky, where he coached all sports at the high school level, and South Bend, Indiana, where he coached basketball, baseball, and tennis. His high school basketball coaching record when he finished was 218-42. But he said his greatest joy about his prep years was not only coaching, but also getting to be the best teacher he could be in the classroom. He often said there was no greater joy than teaching young people. However, John would say that all these honors paled in comparison to what he considered his greatest joy, and that was his marriage to Nellie Riley. John and Nellie would spend their entire lives together and have 2 children. Through all of the good and the bad times, the one constant in John's life was his wife Nellie. Sadly, in 1985, Nellie passed away, and John was left to spend his remaining years in the comfort of his children and with the memories of their 52 years of marriage. However, marriage to his sweetheart was not the only thing that would change Coach Wooden's life. On December 7, 1941, his life as well as the lives of all Americans changed with the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Quickly, basketball became secondary, and Wooden joined the service in 1942. However, health issues kept Coach Wooden out of duty in the field, and instead he was placed into the role of a physical education instructor. When his duty was up in 1945, he left the service as a lieutenant. The legendary coaching career would begin when he returned from the service. In 1946, he took a job at Indiana State Teachers College, known today as Indiana State University. While there, he not only coached basketball, but also baseball and served as the school's athletic director. He did all this while teaching and earning his master's degree in education. It was while he coached at Indiana State that we first get to see the character of the man, because in 1947 he became one of the first college coaches to stand up to segregation as he refused a bid to the National Association of Intercollegiate Basketball National Tournament because they had a policy of banning African American players. He stated that his whole team had earned this accomplishment and he would not participate if his whole team was not invited. This led to a change in a policy of the NAIB, and in 1948, Wooden led his Indiana State team to the NAIB championship. His success at Indiana State and the character with which he led his program would lead to another job where Wooden would cement his legacy. Following the championship run with Indiana State, Coach Wooden was offered the head coaching job with UCLA. Initially, neither he nor his wife enjoyed Los Angeles, but UCLA convinced him to stay. The turnaround for UCLA was immediate upon Wooden's arrival, as in his first year, He took an average program and turned them into Pacific Coast Conference contenders. By the mid-1950s, he had made winning the norm for UCLA basketball. However, the athletic department had been in trouble for paying players prior to Wooden's arrival and now found itself on probation, which held back more progress. However, by the early 1960s, the probation was lifted and immediate impact was seen in the basketball program. By 1964, UCLA went undefeated and won its first national championship, then repeated as champions again in 1965. However, in 1966, the team could not live up to the standards set by the previous two squads, and they did not make the tournament because they were not conference champions. However, in 1967, Coach Wooden led his Bruins back to the national championship. They would repeat as champions for the next 6 seasons, making Wooden the only coach to lead his team to 7 straight national championships. Also along the way, they amassed a winning streak of 88 straight regular season games and 38 straight wins in the NCAA tournament. Finally, in 1975, Coach Wooden announced that he would retire at the end of the season at the age of 64. His team allowed him to finish on top as they won another national championship at the end of that year as well. In total, Coach Wooden coached 27 seasons with UCLA, won 620 games, 10 national championships, was named Coach of the Year 7 times, and was named Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. Finally, he was named to the Basketball Hall of Fame again, this time as a coach, making him the first ever to be enshrined as both a player and a coach. Following his career as a coach, John Wooden settled into a life of sharing his virtues with the rest of the world. He wrote countless books professing the ideas that was passed on to him by his father. These became known as John Wooden's 7-point creed. The 7 points were: be true to yourself, make each day your masterpiece, help others, drink deeply from good books, especially the Bible, make friendship a fine art, build a shelter against a rainy day, and pray for guidance and give thanks for your blessings every day. He also went on to pen several leadership books about his pyramid of success. This was his model for building programs and, more importantly, for building the future leaders out of young men. The components for the pyramid are as follows: industriousness, friendship, loyalty, cooperation, enthusiasm, ambition, self-control, alertness, initiative, intentness, sincerity, adaptability, condition, skill, team spirit, honesty, resourcefulness, poise, confidence, reliability, fight, competitive greatness, integrity, faith, and patience. All things that would go into making a person a great leader later in life. These factors all guided him to success and to, as he put it, a good and complete life. Finally, for all that he had accomplished and done, many of the people and places he touched began to honor him with the naming of gyms and buildings after him and his wife. Finally, in 2003, he was awarded the highest honor given to any civilian in the United States when President George W. Bush gave him the National Freedom Medal. Yet what inspires me about this man is not all of the success on the court or all of the accolades that proclaim his greatness, but instead I am inspired by what he stood for as a man behind the scenes. He stood up for what was right in the face of popular public opinion, as was evident by turning down a chance to play for a national championship at Indiana State because of the discriminatory rules of the tournament's governing body. Moreover, he placed a high value on character and teaching. Near the end of his life, at the age of 94, he said he would come back as an assistant coach just to work and teach young people. His passion for teaching never truly left him. Moreover, Coach Wooden was not afraid to admit his failures and shortcomings as a man. When UCLA was investigated following Wooden's career, it was discovered that many of his players received gifts from a booster. Coach Wooden openly admitted that he may have had tunnel vision with this issue, but he had done everything he could to keep his players away from this booster. He stated, "I may have trusted too much, but as for my conscience on the matter, it is clear." Truly, a great man knows his limitations and his faults, and will admit them, and that was Coach Wooden. Finally, he was a man of great humility and honor. He hated to be called a legend or the Wizard of Westwood, but instead preferred to be called teacher, advisor, mentor, husband, and father. For all of his success, he refused to take a huge payday from UCLA, as he only made at most $35,000 from the university as a coach. He even turned down an opportunity to coach the Los Angeles Lakers for a great deal more money. Bill Walton, one of the great centers from his teams of the late 60s and early 70s, said it best when summing up the man behind Coach Wooden. "I thank John Wooden every day for his selfless gifts, his lessons, his time, his vision, and especially his patience. This is why we call him Coach. This model for a coach is what I long to be in my own coaching career, with the players that I am privileged to work with every day. I hope that in the end, the players will talk about what I poured into them and not simply about the wins and the losses." Finally, in 2010, at the age of 99 years, the flame that was Coach Wooden was finally extinguished as he went to be with his wife Nellie. He always said that he knew she was waiting for him when his journey was over, and June 4th, his journey finally ended. The world had lost a great coach, a great mentor, and to many a great friend. But the memory of Coach Wooden will always live on as we continue to pass down his words of wisdom to the next generations, and as we strive to live by the values that he helped to teach.